The film takes place in 1986, when Scottish farmer Jack Slavin lives with his daughter Rose on the island. A few decades ago, the island was a hippie commune, but now builders want to build houses here and settle with their families. Jack is trying to do everything possible to prevent the builders from entering the island. Rose, on the other hand, is a wonderful teenager who grew up isolated from the outside world after her mother left the family. Jack taught Rose at home and took care of her. Jack has a bad heart and he doesn't have much time left, so he tells Rose that they should hire someone to help them. But Rose doesn't want anyone else in their life and angrily leaves. She runs to her treehouse and starts crying. Jack follows her and tells Rose that she will have to live after his death, but Rose replies that the day he dies will be her last day. For Rose, Jack is the only person in her life that she loves and is afraid of losing him. Without him, Rose will be completely alone, because there is no one in her life except Jack. After telling her the story, Jack leaves for a nearby town saying that he has some work to do. Arriving in town, Jack goes to the house of a woman named Kathleen. She is Jack's girlfriend and they have been in a relationship for some time. Jack asks Kathleen to move into his house and live with them. He also tells her that she can take her 2 children with her to live with them. Kathleen accepts his request and asks if Rose knows about it, to which Jack replies that he will take care of her. Jack returns home and tells Rose that he has invited guests to stay with them for a while as an experiment. The next day, Kathleen arrives with her sons, Thaddeus and Rodney. Jack and Rose greet them and help them take their things, but after seeing their luggage and belongings, Rose realizes that they are going to stay for a long time. Rose is worried about the arrival of new faces and feels thrown out of her own home. Rose takes offense at Jack and leaves. Jack follows her and tries to talk to her, but Rose is angry with him, since Jack kept his relationship with Kathleen a secret. Jack explains that this is just an experiment and nothing more. If Rose starts liking Kathleen and her kids, then they can stay together, but if not, Jack will ask them to leave. Later that day, Thaddeus approaches Rose and asks her to show him nearby places where he can catch snakes. Rose takes him into the woods. Thaddeus sets a trap. He's hitting on her, but Rose doesn't like it. Later in the evening, Rose returns home and heads to her room. On the way, she hears Jack and Kathleen laughing. Rose walks into a small room to spy on them and sees them making love in bed. She goes to her room, takes off her top and looks at her body. Rose becomes strangely jealous of Kathleen, as she feels that Kathleen is stealing Jack from her. Rose comes downstairs and asks Rodney to make love to her. She thinks that if she loses her virginity, Jack will love her again. Rodney is shocked by this and refuses to do it with her. He tries to reason with her, but Rose continues to achieve this. Rodney politely refuses her. Instead, he gives Rose a new haircut. After the haircut, Rose grabs a gun and heads straight to her father's bedroom. Kathleen wakes up and is startled to see Rose pointing a gun at them. Rose gets scared and drops the gun, which accidentally misfires. Jack takes Rose to her room and is completely at a loss, but soon he forgets about this incident and thinks that she did it to scare Kathleen. However, Kathleen believes that Rose has some kind of psychological problems and suggests that Jack send Rose to a school for troubled children, but Jack gets upset about this and tells Kathleen that Rose is fine. All he wants is for Kathleen to take care of Rose after his death. Time goes by and Rose and Rodney become good friends. One day a man named Gray comes to their house, who often delivers flowers to Rose and Jack. Later, Rose asks Gray to teach her how to kiss. Gray explains to Rose that her first kiss should be romantic and casual, unplanned. Rose tells him that she can romantically kiss him, but Gray refuses and leaves. One day Rodney and Rose go to town to meet Rodney's friend Bradbury. When they get home, Rose shows Bradbury her treehouse, where they have fun all day. Later that night, Rose goes into the woods and finds a snake trapped by Thaddeus and decides to take it with her. During the return, Rose finds Bradbury and Rodney making love in his car, and since Rose was rejected by both Rodney and Gray, she decides to do it with Thaddeus. She returns home and puts the snake under the bed. Later, Thaddeus enters Rose's room. Although she doesn't like him, she lets him make love to her. Due to the vibration of the bed, the cage lock opens and the snake escapes. After Thaddeus leaves, Rose checks her palms, on which she discovers bloodstains and dances with joy. The next morning when Jack is chilling outside, he sees that Rose has hung up her bloody sheet in the front yard and has written that this is just an experiment. Jack is devastated to find out that his daughter is spoiled, and it's only when he's about to scold Rose that Kathleen screams loudly as she sees a snake in the bedroom. Jack tries to find the snake and get rid of it before it bites anyone. And meanwhile Thaddeus finds his cage under Rose's bed. Rose explains that she just wanted to scare Kathleen and nothing more. After dealing with the snake, Jack confronts Thaddeus and gives him one day to move out for spoiling his daughter. Later in the evening, Rose arranges a homemade movie screening in her treehouse. While everyone is enjoying the movie, Thaddeus tries to kiss Rose, and Jack attacks him in a rage. During the scuffle, Rose pushes Thaddeus, who falls from a tree. Kathleen gets angry at Rose, and tells her to leave. Thaddeus survives the fall and is rushed to the hospital. Rodney asks Rose to come with him and leave the island, but Rose politely refuses, saying she can't leave Jack, not in his current situation. But Rose is offended by Jack for not having the courage to express his love and runs away. She goes to one of the residential complexes to be alone. Jack has been waiting for Rose to come home for several days, but she doesn't come back. Jack is tired of waiting and goes in search of Rose. He finds her in one of the apartment complexes and apologizes to her. He says he shouldn't have let the outside world into their life together, but he was afraid that after his death, there would be no one to take care of Rose. She says she doesn't want to see Kathleen anymore, not after what happened in the treehouse. Jack realizes that he will have to choose between his girlfriend and his daughter, so he leaves saying that he has to deal with the deal. He returns home and offers Kathleen $10,000, and then $15,000 to move out. Kathleen agrees to leave for $20,000. Jack returns to the apartment complex, and informs Rose that Kathleen is leaving. Rose is very happy about this news, because now they are together again. Jack and Rose spend the night there, as Kathleen leaves the next day. Jack lies down on the bed and Rose joins him. When they look at each other, Rose kisses Jack. He is shocked by this, and cannot believe that his daughter is in love with him. He also blames himself for letting her kiss him, and cries. The next morning, Jack wakes up and is still haunted by the memory of the kiss. He sits on a bulldozer, and destroys an apartment complex. Later, he and Rose go to the house of the developer Martin. Jack wants to tell him that he destroyed the apartment complex, but Martin says he can build it again without any problems. He also offers Jack a huge sum of money to buy his land. Jack breaks down, as he has no strength left to fight, and agrees to sell his land to Martin. Rose is upset by his decision and doesn't want Jack to give up, but Jack made the decision because he wants Rose to have a future. Rose and Jack return home and see that Kathleen has left. Jack is now very weak, due to a heart condition, and he doesn't have long left. The next morning, Rose wakes up and sees that Jack died in his sleep. Since Rose originally planned to commit suicide, after Jack's death, she lies down next to her father and sets fire to the house. But after a while she changes her mind and runs away. 2 years later, Rose is living in Vermont, working in a greenhouse where Gray also works. She is engaged in gardening and lives the way her father wanted. Thanks for watching and see you soon.